Greetings, hi, howdy, and welcome. So we're going to start with a warmer. This is a little something that could help you along the way. I've seen questions like this, and they always take my students by surprise. So it's just a little quick thing in the beginning here. We got less and fewer. So what's the difference between these two guys? They mean the same thing, but there are sometimes you would use less, and sometimes you would use fewer. So he thinks he knows the answer. No, he's wrong. Okay, so we have less here and fewer here. And we have water, oatmeal, chickens, and democracy. Four lovely words, and where do you think they go? Why don't you take a minute and pause it if you need time? Is it less water or fewer water, right? It's less water, less oatmeal, fewer chickens, and less democracy, right? So this is probably something that just intuitively, especially if you're a first language English speaker, this was very easy for you to pick up. So can you see, now here's the other thing, can you see the rule? It's like those old Sesame Street things, like what these three have in common, that this one is different. You see it? This one has an S. You can't count water. You can't count oatmeal. I mean, you could count droplets of water, but then the word droplets with the S, that's the plural. So because you can't plural it, it's called an uncountable noun. You're going to use less for those. You can't do it for singular because you have to have less. Less has to be a multiple, you know. It's just by nature of like what the meaning of the word is. But yeah, fewer chickens. So most of the time you're going to use fewer. Okay, here's a little friend here with tights. Use less for uncountable nouns. Rice refers to a large quantity. So you don't say many rices, right? That'd be, silly. Use fewer for regular old plurals. So fewer bananas, fewer study sessions, fewer brain cells. No, I'm not implying anything. Okay, another warm-up cat. So here, he's going to think up some words, and your job will be to decide whether it's less or fewer. Coffee? Yeah, less coffee. Cups of coffee. Fewer cups of coffee. Now the S allows you to measure it. Chocolate? Less chocolate. You can't count chocolate. The word chocolate. You can count chocolate bars. Fewer chocolate bars. Money. Less money. Freedom. Can't count freedom. Less freedom. You could count freedom if it was in a different context, like freedom of speech, freedom of the press, something like that. Those would be, I guess, considered freedoms. But the way it's used here, it's used in the general abstract sense of the word. Plates of mouth-watering pecan pie. Fewer or less? It's going to be fewer, because plates. Pie is not countable, but plates is. So it's going to be fewer plates. Global warming. There is now, today, less global warming than there was. That would be nice, right? Doggo turds. There are fewer doggo turds than there were 2 days ago. We have less chicken. Fewer chickens. You can count them when they're an animal, but not when they're on your plate. Okay. My little intro page here, relatively painless SAT prep. Reading strategies for annoying or difficult passages. So everybody has a least favorite, passage type. Some students hate prose passages because they don't see the logic in it. It's all moved by story and character development and sometimes symbolism and motifs like repeating things like that. Other students, like I have one student who just bombs humanities every single time. I had another one who just was bad at science but was good at everything else. I don't know. So whatever the annoying or difficult passage type is for you, I would say the first thing is try not to spend too much time on that, because if you do, I mean, wouldn't it, every question, think about it this way, every question is worth the same amount of points, right? It's worth one. So if you spend all this time trying to get the difficult ones right, and then you run out of time and you wind up not having enough to spend on the question types or passage types that, you really feel confident in those. Well, then you're losing like times two, aren't you? Um, so, you can skip. I didn't write this in any of the slides, but honestly, yeah, skip around if you need to, and hit your strong points first if that's a thing for you. He agrees. I like this little cat here. So taking shortcuts can be dangerous, but difficult passages can be a time eater. Don't be skipping over huge chunks of text. But the following strategy can be useful if you're already at a pretty high reading level. Okay? Um, yeah, so I don't want to like get in trouble here because like you missed a big chunk of information. Okay, but we all know, like, come on, like there's only so much time, to go around. So you really need to use your judgment. It's up to you whether you're really trying to save time and you're assessing whether or not you could actually skip a piece of text or not. Or whether you're just kind of being lazy and trying to get through it. You have to hold yourself accountable. Um, but okay, so here, this is in my opinion, very annoying, very thick, very heady text. So I'm going to read it out loud to you. Um, Priestley's reputation as a man of science rests upon his numerous and important contributions to the chemistry of gaseous bodies, and to form a just estimate of the value of his work, to the extent to which it advanced the knowledge of fact and the development of sound theoretical views, we must reflect what chemistry was in the first half of the 18th century. Blah. Okay. So, you see all that text wrapped between those two dashes in lines 2 to 3? So here we got a dash here, right? And then we got a dash there. All right. You can omit that. So if you have Priestley's reputation as a man of science rests upon his numerous and important contributions to the chemistry of gaseous bodies, and to form a just estimate of the value of his work, we must reflect what chemistry was in the first half of the 18th century. So I would recommend, yeah, you can pretend it's not there for the sake of the sentence, and then just be aware that you skipped something, and if you need to go back, fine. But it's a really nice way to get the meaning quickly. And indeed, that is called a parenthetic element. The first bit the warmer in this video was from the writing section. So like less and fewer is usually you're going to find something like that in the writing section, if at all. Parenthetic elements are also in the writing and language section. We're doing reading strategy here, but I really see no conflict in interest, or what do you call it? They're not mutually exclusive. You could teach both of them at the same time because you got to take them both anyway. And they're both English. And as you can see, you need, knowing this from the writing and language section, it can help you read well. So I really don't see the sense in separating them. I like this little cat. Okay. I like all cats. I love cats. Before you start reading the passage, pick out the questions with line numbers. So this is another strategy now I'm moving into. So you open up the book, the test, you look at the passage, but then you're like, okay, automatically you start reading, right? But what you really want to do is go to the questions first. And we're going to pick out certain kind of questions. So let's say number 4 is a vocabulary and context question. And usually those will read something like, the word Cretan, as used in line 37, most likely means blah, 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 A, B, C, or D, right? Here we have a line. So we're going to know exactly what to look for when we start reading the text. So the purpose of reading the questions first is not to like read every single question, read every option, get bogged down in all that, and waste lots of time. The point of this is to save time. So what we're going to do is we're going to see this, and then we're going to go to the passage, make a little bracket, and then we're going to write question number 4 here. So when we get up to line 37, we know that we can answer that question right away. It's a little definition of Cretan. Okay. I've heard it cretin before. I don't know. So here's what you do. Find the line in the passage and bracket it off. Write number 4 in the margin. Okay. By doing this, you will have to flip back and forth less frequently as you read. Which, everyone who's taken the test knows how annoying it is to do that. In other words, you'll be able to answer these questions as you get up to them. Plus, by the time you finish the passage, reading it, that is, you'll have less work to do. So, super efficient. Okay. Definitely, these tips are only useful if you try them out. Watching the video is fun, but, put it into practice. And there's all kinds of resources up there. Someday I'm gonna make a couple of practice tests of my own, but in the meantime, if you can afford it, hit up like a Barnes and Noble and get the McGraw-Hill. It's a blue book. They have 4 complete practice tests, a diagnostic practice test in the beginning, so that's really 5. And then they have all kinds of like help and stuff like that throughout, with really good tips and stuff like that. So these videos are like a good supplement, but if you can't afford the book, then look for practice tests and then seek out videos like these. Definitely sub if you want to. And there are also tons of good resources out there. But yeah, do the practice tests and try these out. See if they work for you. Here's my little friend with the glasses. This is just a little one. Be relentless. Yeah, take lots of practice tests and pretend like you like them. Okay, last one. You can read faster than you think. It's true. So what I want you to do is run your finger across the page as you read it. Yeah. Wow. So these are all behind it? Okay. There you go. Your finger angles these little cerebral abstractions called words to your physical body. Okay, so just remember, SAT reading is not pleasure reading. Don't get lost in the text. This happens to some students who like prose passages, who read for pleasure and fun. That's not really what you're trying to do. You're trying to be efficient. You're trying to get the answer as quick as possible. You're not trying to ingrain it into your long-term memory. It's not like, you're trying to memorize dates and facts from history. They're not going to go there, really. There will be some specific fact questions, but it's not that bad. Get in, get out, and answer questions in between. All right. That ends my projects. Thanks for listening. So just to recap, less chicken, fewer chickens, right? So countable and not countable. If you skip a parenthetic element, the sentence is still comprehensible. Right? So if the sentence is all jumbly and stuff like that, and you notice 2 commas, 2 dashes with some text in between, try skipping over it and just reading the sentence as it is. You may find that it'll simplify things. Look at the answers first and then coordinate the answers with the line number as you read. Finally, skim with your finger for super efficiency. Alright, thanks for watching.